Hi, I'm Lee,
And I'm Con.
and we're going to talk about Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Let's talk about the bad stuff first because there's
So much of it.
so much. We don't know where to start. We'll point out a couple of things first. Firstly, the movie is crammed with lots and lots of things.
Yeah, so many characters, so many ideas, so many storylines. It's hard to say if there's one pure storyline at all.
There's a lack of... There's so much... They're trying to do so many things with the storyline that it's just really...
There's no story,
No
essentially.
story,
Because
because-
they're trying to have so many stories, there's
Yeah.
no story.
When I was watching it, I was really confused. I was really confused what was happening. I was asking questions left, right, and center because I was just like, "What's this and what's that?" Because they were just showing all these things popping up on the screen with little or no thought, and they're just like they expect you to know what's going on, but you really don't know what's going on.
It's almost like you're a fly on the wall for all of these scenes, and then you're just left to interpret what's happening. And I mean, if you're a comic book fan and you love all of this stuff and you know every single character, every single detail, maybe it's okay for you, maybe you don't mind as much because you're already aware. But if we're kind of,
Not
so
much of a
fans,
fan. Like I don't watch a lot of DC. I don't know, same with Marvel. I don't really know much of Marvel, but I understand the movies because they back it up. Whatever they show, there's meaning to what they show.
yeah, there's some narrative regardless
Exactly.
of who it is or what it is.
It kind of felt like an amateur film. Somebody didn't know what they were doing, and they're just adding things here and there for the sake of adding things here and there because they need to add it.
Well, it goes to show then that Zack Snyder, who directed the film, is an amateur storyteller. He might be a really effective visuals and cinematography guy. When it comes to actually directing a narrative, he just has no idea how to handle it.
I agree with that. What was good about it? Well,
There's only one real thing.
one of the things that really stood out was Batman. Hands down, he pretty much made the film.
Ben Affleck as well as Batman, which was so surprising because when it came out that he was going to take the mantle from Christian Bale, everyone sort of shit on him a little bit.
And he did deliver.
Yeah,
It's really great. No faults for Batman. He really put a lot of effort.
he looked the part.
He looked
He
menacing
emoted
as
the
shit.
part. Yeah, he really gave that grizzled Batman life on screen. You know, that
Like
Dark Knight Returns.
he was running through the street as Bruce Wayne, and I'm like, God damn it, you are running for your life at the moment. Like, I didn't know what was going on, like most of the film, but I'm like, but you could see it in his eyes, you could see it in the cinematography that he was running for his life. He was running for, it was a life and death situation. You could tell.
There was definitely that 9/11 parallel there.
Yeah, that was a bit of a...
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It was relevant, but at the same time,
And
But
that horse that came in
the
randomly.
horse was pretty random.
Like, oh, yes.
But that fighting scene, I think that's probably the takeaway. And the best things about the film, that scene where Batman is taking on a whole mob of men in a warehouse.
In that warehouse was one of probably the best scenes in the whole film. I think it really, you really got an understanding. You get an understanding of what's in Batman's head because of the way he fights. He's had enough of bullshit, and he really just wants, you can just tell he's had enough.
Yeah,
He
he
doesn't
fights with
care.
emotion.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion.
He's
just
gritty
pure grit,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, I really dug that scene. It's funny because the movie was littered with so many action scenes, but most of them weren't fun. You sort of never were able to get on the ride and get taken away with it. But that one scene, it did all the Batman tropes and it made it feel really authentic. And that goes hand in hand with Zack Snyder's best quality, which is cinematography.
Mhm.
His ability to line up the right shot and have people getting into odd positions or like characters surrounding a certain character just because it looks really good. There's a scene where Superman goes to South America, I think, and it's Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
All the children with the skull face paint. And, it doesn't really make any sense to the plot, but it looks amazing. I really enjoyed it.
We just wanted to show that Superman's saving people after all, but really, he seemed disconnected.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A lot of scenes seem disconnected.
Oh, but that's what I mean. Like, it's good cinematography-wise. I don't think it meant anything at all to the movie. What about that scene, the wasteland scene?
He just comes out of a shack, and you don't really get a clear shot of who it is at the start. I thought it was Hellboy from the start.
The whole trench coat look.
Yeah, he was wearing a trench coat, and it's like he's wearing a trench coat. He's wearing the Batman mask. It just didn't make any sense. It didn't make sense because you don't know until the end that it's a dream, but it just felt disconnected. There was no that as a standalone scene by itself as a short film, yeah, but as part of the greater film, seemed way out of place.
What do you think though, just from a visuals point of view?
It was cool. It was visually really awesome. He fought really cool. It just, again, it didn't make sense. Superman coming in, he just didn't make sense. None of it really made sense.
I think that leads into our final thoughts.
Story-wise, the film does not make sense. It's Batman versus Superman. It's Superman versus the world. It's Superman and Lois versus the world. You have Batman versus Superman eventually, and that is like a whole lot of shit leading up to it, which lasts 5 minutes, if that, and then
you've got intros to other possible characters they might reveal. You've got a few small cameos. You've got a lot of B characters with nothing to do.
And like you said, Superman, not even Superman has a lot to do. He's just sitting there.
Yeah, he's just
getting
a body.
The shit kicked out of him.
Pretty much. There's no real Batman versus Superman. This could have been 5 films. There could have been 5 films done really well instead of one film that's just a
Totally. I totally agree.
Yeah, it feels like what would you call it? A wastebasket overflowing. Like just so much.
Totally agree with that one. Final thoughts. Do watch it because it's an interesting watch.
Do you think?
I think it's an interesting watch. I mean, you need to see it. But don't expect high expectations.
I would think that if you're a big fan and you want to go and see it, to maybe have a beer or two first, expect to go in there and not be entertained, see a spectacle.
Like a circus show.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's actually a line.
That's our review. It's comparable to a circus. You're gonna get a whole lot of freaks and.
You get one standout performance, and the rest is subpar.
Definitely. How many?
I'll give it a 2.5 Batflex.
2.5 Batflex. Yeah, I'm gonna give.
And that's out of 10, not 5.
Oh, okay. Oh, it still works out relatively the same. I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5.
Gal Gadot's.
Gal Gadot. Dot. And those 2 are for Ben Affleck, who.
Yeah, pretty much the 2.5 are for Ben Affleck.
He gives hope that one day we'll get another cool Batman film.
Which he's written a standalone Batman film, apparently. So
which is cool.
I want to read that.
He's a good director. So if he could... I'd actually like to see him direct and star and write. Do the whole works.
Please do that, Ben.
Please do that, and please have a cameo of Matt Damon as Robin.
That'd be cool.
That would be so.
That would be cool. And somebody has to go save Robin. And that was our review, or let's talk about it. Till next time.
Thanks for listening.
Catch ya.
Ciao.